Hello, my name is Jordan Manaki, and this is my Reflect and Connect on the Matthew Rochan article. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Um, First and foremost, throughout this entire reading, the only thing that I could think of was rule number one, which is your students must sound good. As much as I want them to have a great time, like let's say, for example, I have a student orchestra and they really, 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 really want to play Rhapsody in Blue oh my goodness, yeah, isn't it Gershwin? Rhapsody in Blue. They want to play Rhapsody Blue. And they just aren't at that level. Rule number one, your students must sound good. So as much as I would love to teach you Rhapsody in Blue, we're not at that level yet. But going on, it said somewhere in this article specifically that almost all educators, or a majority of educators, I'm trying to find it, but I can't right now, it's hidden in there, like, they want their students to appreciate music. I want my students to be lifelong lovers of music. They don't need to be professionals, but I want them to purchase concert tickets and to patronize the arts. So, as much as I would adore teaching a group of high school students and every single one of them wants to go see the Berlin Philharmonic or the Philadelphia Orchestra when they do their summers at SPAC, as much as I would kill to have an entire group of musicians who want to do the same things that I want to do, the reality of it is most likely not, the reality of it is no, not all my students are going to want to do that. And as a matter of fact, I think it's going to be the minority that is going to want to do that. Unless I just happen to be the luckiest educator in the world where all my students have the same passion and devotion that I do. But getting them involved with music is something else, because, I mean, not only do you have to get them involved with something that's classical and kind of, it has a stigmatism with it. It has this idea that classical music is only for the elite, or when you think of classical music, you think of Mozart and Haydn and Bach and, powdered wigs and fancy parties, which is what I used to think even as a music student, that, I can't possibly like Mozart or Bach or Haydn or anything like that because I don't have a powdered wig and I want, really deep, gut-wrenching music like Tchaikovsky. I don't want... So not only do we have to get them on that level of, well, it's not all that, it's very interesting and there's things here, and, like, it's fun, but you also have to get on the idea that these, like, kids these days, how old am I? Kids these days don't have attention spans. I mean, even I'm losing an attention span scrolling on TikTok all the time. But it mentions in the article that you can kind of bring up questions for your kids. So, like, what's your favorite part? What did you like about this piece? Why or why not? Kind of going along with that idea of asking your kids. I think some of your kids will give you real answers. Some of your kids might be, all right, let me give this teacher the most detailed response that I can give. We all have, like, there's always going to be that kid that gives you, well, I really like this, and this, but I didn't work well with this and that and the other thing. But the majority of my students, honestly, if I handed them a piece of paper or did something like that, I feel like a little reflection quiz or something like that, I feel like my kids would just write down, I really like measure 22 and how the violas get the melody for the first time in ever. So this thing, it's kind of, how do I get my students excited for music class and excited for orchestra? And I think part of that not only comes from the music, but comes how, like, I don't know if it particularly points it out in the article anywhere, but I feel like it comes from not only the music that we're playing as an ensemble, but who's delivering the music. So I've had my fair share of playing in ensembles with conductors or teachers that I just don't care for. I mean, they bore me to death. I'm yawning by minute 5 and I want to get out of there as soon as possible. And then there's other rehearsals that go by like that, and I've been sitting there for 4 hours because the person who's delivering the music to me, as like little tiny middle school Jordan brain, where I ate it up because of the person who is making it fun, the person who is delivering it and really talking to me. So there's also that. And then at some point it mentions and it touches on the fact that, at what point do you lose the authenticity of your music when you have your students just like pick out dynamics and bowings and what they want to do. I mean, Dr. Webb talked about this a lot with his orchestras, where cellos might be like, hey, at the end of this piece, can we say yeah or hey? Like, yes, it gets like it's not written in the music, but if the kids want to do it and it makes them fun and it makes them go, ooh, we're playing this, yay, then by all means do it. I feel like at a certain level, in public school, when I'm teaching middle school, high school, elementary school like level orchestra, yes, it's great to have authenticity, but at the same time, I feel like that's the primal age to be encouraging creativity. That's the age where you want to be like, oh, you think that mezzo forte would be better here than forte, and like we try it out. And see how it works. Yes, there's going to be moments in time where I'm going to have to be like, no, you can't cover the violas in that section. Like, unless the violas are willing to put in, a triple forte, you got to stay piano. But allowing them to have control over how they play the music, maybe not necessarily the music they play, but, if they say, hey, well, I want to do this instead of that, I don't think it would be bad or take away from anything if you allowed them leeway with that. It's kind of a different story when you do something like the opera that's going on here at school, at Fredonia, because in that level we're performing a Mozart opera, and you want to keep it as authentic as you can, and even then some changes are made, like cuts, or we got to kind of mark this down because we're too loud for them, but that's different than public school, high school level stuff. But it also mentioned, kind of reading this made me think about the idea of having your students pick their music. I mean, we've talked about teachers who do like a March Madness type of bracket with pieces they played when they were in elementary school with their seniors, and figuring out which one you're going to play for the concert for fun because they want to go back and be kids again. I think you could also do something like that with, me as the educator, kind of knowing which where my kids are ZPD wise. I could give them, here's 4 songs that we could potentially play at our next concert. Let's take a poll and we'll bracket these off, and we'll kind of make them battle each other, see which one we like best. We'll sight read all of them, and take a day to kind of have fun with that, to laugh because we messed up this section. I feel like that would be fun, and it would also give the kids something to look forward to. I mean, if I'm sitting in a concert playing music that I picked, I'm going to have 10 times more fun than sitting in a concert where somebody picked out, I don't know, something that I don't really care for. So, I mean, I feel like there's so many different ways to get your kids involved, and there's also so many lines that are kind of iffy that I as much as I like figuring out, as much as I like figuring out the perspective of, what would you do in this situation? Honestly, I don't know until I get there. And I know that this video is getting long, but this article just kind of sparked a lot of thoughts on how I would go through choosing repertoire that is beneficial for them, but also is something that they enjoy, and then getting them involved in their music. I think kids will be involved in music no matter which way you strike it. Whether it be they're involved the way I am, where I want to go see, someone play the Sibelius Violin Concerto, or if they're involved in the sense that they're buying tickets to go see Billie Eilish in concert. I mean, music is music. Are there different kinds? Yes. Is it good that they feel attracted to it and they feel connected with it? Yes, it's fantastic. And I feel like that's good, whether it be for a rap artist or whether it be for Beethoven.